Rutkin Mods.
Hello, I'm Greg Rutke of Rutke Mods, and welcome to episode 1 of my new series, the Enforce Chipset series, which will be based off of the 780i and 790i chipsets. And this will cover both of those chipsets completely, though I will be mainly focusing on the 790i because I have one. This computer right in front of me is based off of a 790i chipset and is an XFX Ultra SLI 3-way motherboard, which was produced in late 2008. Now I have upgraded this to a EVGA P10 BIOS, which was the most recent BIOS update released for this chipset, and XFX for some reason didn't release that, so now the computer thinks it's an EVGA board, but other than that, they were the same motherboards, so there's no problems, and I have all the most recent updates now for chipset compatibility, CPU compatibility, and RAM compatibility. Now, this series will explain to you all the pros and cons, the major pluses and pitfalls of owning a Enforce 780i or 790i motherboard. Now, the 780i is a better shot for reliability, but the 790i has a lot of pluses if you can get them to run properly. These motherboards are very temperamental and need specific RAM if you're running the 790i. The 780i is not as restrictive because it uses DDR2. 790i uses very early DDR3, which is known as high voltage DDR3, which they made for roughly a year. You can't buy it new anymore, and unless you use that, it's nearly impossible to make the motherboard run properly with regular DDR3. Some people have done it, but it's not easy. So I will be explaining to you all those pros and cons if you decide to do this. Why should you decide to do it? Because these chipsets can run all 775 and 771 LGA socket CPUs ever made, and it will allow you to run them at their full maximum and allow you to overclock very easily. You can actually overclock these CPUs so high that I have managed to get this motherboard right here, which was from my mother's original PC, which was the Parts PC series. If you've watched that, this was the original motherboard, which was highly unstable and didn't work right. It works great now because it has the proper RAM in it. I'll explain to you why I decided to build it up and make it look nice and run awesome. Right now it's running an Xeon X5470 in it, clocked at 4.25 gigahertz right now, and I can probably clock it higher, but I haven't right now. And the DDR3 is clocked to 1700 megahertz, which is unbelievable for such early RAM and for this motherboard, because the max you could go with two DDR3 modules was 2000 megahertz according to their specs, but people have managed to get 4 to run at over 2000 megahertz, and right now I'm running 4 at 1700 megahertz, all 8 gigs of RAM. You can also run 16 gigabyte RAM in this, and that's 4 gigabyte RAM modules. But there are some issues, especially since that would be in the newer DDR3, and there's stability issues. So that's why I'm right now doing 8 gigabytes. I may go to 16 sometime and cover that too, but right now I'm using 8 gigabytes of 1.7 volt DDR3, and right now it's volted up to 1.925. And the highest, safest level you can go with high volt DDR3 is 2 volts. In fact, the highest in overclocking RAM from that time was 2 volt, and you could actually clock them higher with even more voltage, but I don't want to fry this RAM because, well, it's not easy to find. I'll explain to you what I had to go through to find it and make it work properly. But anyway, these boards are incredible. Right now, I'll show you real quick the whole setup. You can pause the video to see everything, but I'm just going to go through this real quick so you can see what it's doing right now. And then we'll finish up this video real quick. Why you should consider doing this. If you can find the board cheap enough, I'd recommend getting one. Because with the proper overclocking, you can get a $30 CPU like I did. This Xeon was $30 from eBay, shipped. You can get it to run at a powerful enough speed to match a Sandy Bridge i5. This computer right here is now running as fast as the computer I built for my mother, which you saw in the Parts PC series if you've watched that. And if you haven't, I'll link a link to it so you can watch the series, at least the first episode. You can click on from there. And that's all if you want to watch it. Anyway, I just wanted to make this intro video to show you the computer, explain to you what's coming up. This computer right now isn't 100% finished yet, but this is what it looks like so far. We have a water cooler in it, and a GTX 950, and it's just an awesome looking computer. It runs incredibly well now, and it's just going to be an awesome topic to talk about. This is going to be a pretty long series, I believe, and I'm looking forward to showing it with you guys. There's still a few things I want to do to this computer before it's 100% finished and before I can do all the videos I want to do with it. I have special ordered a SATA 3 USB 3 combo card and an SSD for this system, and also a Wi-Fi so I don't have to tether it to an Airport Express, and I can still have it connected to my internet. Other than that, this whole system is ready to go. And once I finish buttoning all that up, this thing will be even more of a screamer, and I will be overclocking it even more and making all the videos about this and showing you guys exactly why you should consider getting one of these boards. They're incredible for being so old. And as a testament, there are people still running these boards today, still running with SLIing and using the newest GPUs. Of course, you're limited to 2.0 PCIe speeds, but you can still get the full potential out of all your cards through the bus. The CPU may bottleneck it a little bit, but it's not that bad. And the chipset in these allowed you to use all the lanes, where back then CPUs, and even today with today's Z series boards and stuff, will only allow you to use a certain number of PCIe lanes. This wasn't really limited that way. This has 2 PCIe 2 slots and 1 PCIe 1 slot, all 16 times, and will allow you to run all 3 cards at 16 times, although one of them's PCIe 1, so it would be like PCIe 2 8 times. So you'd be running 2 16 times and 1 8 times in PCIe 2 speeds. That's incredible. And today people are still running newest cards in this system on these boards. Right now I'm running a GTX 950. Some people I've read online in websites like overclockers.net, I think that's the website, that they are running dual 980 Ti's and SLI with no problems. This motherboard can do that, and it can use all those lanes, and it doesn't like to bottleneck. It's an incredible system for being as old as it is, and I hope you guys enjoy this series as much as I'm going to enjoy filming it and making all this content for you guys. Anyway, well, that is the end of this video, and thank you for watching. This has been a Rutke Mods video.